You know, I want to talk about Deja Vu. And I experienced Deja Vu, but not up close and personal, but one time. Normally, I dreamed of people I never saw before, places I never saw before. Then I see these places, rare places in American Geographic. And I'm like, wow, I saw that 2 years ago in a dream. Or I see a weird type of animal in a dream, and then I see it on TV a couple of years later. And the same thing with people, but never in person until now. Let me tell you this story. I used to hang over at a place called Duke's, right off of 27, I think 27th Street, right? All the thugs and dope boys, all of them in drinkings. We go over the Duke. We hang around Duke many years, even when I was a little boy, 10, 11 year old. But we used to hang out the water hole then. When the water hole closed, we moved to the Duke house. Everybody loved Duke. Well, one day I pulled up. I was sitting in my truck car. I see this little short, husky guy just slamming people left and right. I ain't never seen him before. So I wasn't there for him to get out that truck until he was standing over my oldest brother. And he grabbed my older brother around the head, trying to get him in the headlock. And I jumped out the door. I said, hey, remember somebody your age, bro? And he looked around. He said, who? Who was this nigga? Do he know who I'm here? And he ran into me like a little bull now. And I slapped him about 6 times. He just couldn't handle me. But he couldn't believe it because he was husky, you know what I mean? He, like, how did dude just do that, right? So then he run in his back trunk. And he grabbed a rifle. And when he grabbed that rifle, I had mine in back of his neck. I said, you make one move, it's over. So he said, don't shoot me, man. Don't shoot me. He lowered the gun in the trunk. He closed the trunk. He said, don't shoot me, man. He said, use a real one. Use a real one. I'm Officer so-and-so. Oh, Lord, I said. Oh, Lord, this dude, the officer, I'd have had it. You know what I mean? Because I went up a cricket officer back then. Hardcore officer. And after that, me and him became best friends. And one Friday, he said, ride with me. And this dude, off duty, rode around robbing the worst, most dangerous drug dealers in the city. And I'm like, oh, Lord, man, what you doing? He said, don't worry about it, partner. Don't worry about it. I'm going to pay you. I just needed some backup. And all these people looking at me, and he went to the party that looked like it was 500 people. He robbed all them people, man. He walked through the crowd and say, oh, my partner got my bike. And we walk into the crowd out there. I thought they were the man's friend. Then he rode up to Bernard Dixon. Same thing. I mean, these guys even robbing were killers. So I'm asking people, hey, man, who that little dude is who will be around the dude? They said, man, that's the police. That's the police. He's a police out of so-and-so, another city. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm scared because every drug dealer and gangbanger in town see me with them man robbing them, right? So I had a dream, right? And I see the old man with a dark gray shirt on with suspender and like green or I think green pants or brown pants, right? And I walked into the house and he was sitting on the couch. And it was a house full of people and they would come to do drugs and they'll give him $3, $1 or whatever. I forgot what it was, like $1 10 minutes or something, or $1 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know what it was because I don't do drugs, right? But I'm just dreaming. And I woke up. The dream felt real. I said, man, that man looked like mama. You know what I mean? Man looked like mama. And I knew it was a vivid dream. So I'm trying to remember everything in that dream. And I even wrote it down because something going on here. The dream had a meaning. I never seen this man. I never seen his house. Never. But he had the face of my mama. So now I'm curious. Now some months passed and I forgot about it. And one day, that police officer dude say, hey, come ride with me. I got in the car with him. He said, man, I got you anything you want, man. I got you anything you want, man. You know what I mean? I got you. And he talking about drugs, and I don't do drugs, all my buddies do drugs. I don't do drugs. And we get to this house. And I'm like, that look like the house I was dreaming about. We walked in. It was dark. And I'm not going to lie. The same couch. The furniture in the same arrangement. And this old man come walking through. And my police buddy say, hey, this should take care of you. Gave him like $200. The old man was so happy. And my police buddy say, hey man, let everybody smoke free tonight. You know what I mean? Until you hit that amount I gave you. I gave you, 200, he say. So the old man say, oh, you with him, you can go in there and smoke too. Pick any room you want. I said, sir, I don't smoke. He said, what you doing with him? I said, man, that man crazy, man. I don't know why I keep jumping in the car with him. You know what I mean? I say, we met fighting. He said, oh, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, He check on me, make sure I got food, and I always got money in my pocket. He's a good guy. And the guy was running a trap house. Back then, Social Security, well, right now they don't pay black people that much every month. So I figured back then he was probably making $340 a month or $400. So he had to. That's the only way he could make money. Was to let people come in and smoke. And I knew all the people's in there because I was an anti-drug and gang unit. I was with them, and I also been in a few gangs. I growed up in the gangs since I went to 5th grade, so I knew everybody in there. I wasn't scared of nothing because the rival gangs ain't on that part of town. That part of town is my area. You know what I mean? Avenue E. And out of nowhere, the guy say, you Daisy's son. Then I told him about, I dreamed of him and blah, 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 and all that. And he had on the same clothes, the same glasses, the same couch, the same kitchen table. Everything was the same. And he said, well, Daisy, them grandmama and mama was Indian. And Daisy's mama, daddy was a spiritual Cherokee chief, a spiritual man, a healer. And I said, yeah. So me and the old man talked because my buddy stayed over there probably 2 hours. You got rock heads coming in and out, in and out, and in and out, which I'm piking, you know what I mean? I'm piking. So I ain't scared because we the catch it right in the front door. We sitting here, the front door right there, and people just walking in without knocking. It's just a string door. They'll knock 2 times and walk right on in. They got there and lock up. That was a dangerous street. Avenue E wasn't nothing to play with. So I was kind of scared that they can just walk right in because you don't know who walking in there. You know what I mean? But they know he wasn't selling drugs, so I think we were good. They just know it was a house for people to come smoke. So ain't that much money in there, you know what I mean? But anyway, the next day I went to my mama's house. I told her about the Deja Vu. And then I told her about, and I went there, mama, and this man looked just like you. She said, yeah. Where he live? I said, Avenue E. She said, Yellow House? I said, yeah. She said, oh, the word is, and he know too, that me and him are brother and sister. He supposed to be an outside child my daddy had. But we were always accepting each other as brother and sister. All my brothers, them accepted him. And all his people accepted us as his brother. She said, yeah, I know him. And she said the name and everything and blah, 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 blah. So Christmas was coming. Well, maybe Thanksgiving come up, right? And she cooked a duck. An extra duck and an extra cake. And I went over there and she said, hey, you still go see your uncle? I said, what uncle? She said, that man. What you had to dream about? I said, nah, I don't go. I said, Mama, I went over there a couple of times and gave him money when I got paid, to make sure she eat. And she said, do me a favor. You check on him till he die. Make sure he always got food and all his bill paid for me. She said that I'm sure that he, he your uncle. Cause the word is my dad had an outside child in here. I said, oh yeah, he looked like you, he looked like us, So I shocked the old guy. I went over there, I gave him my mama duck, a whole duck. And my mama can cook some duck, boy. You know what I mean? She can cook and duck. And she gave me a whole duck with rice. The duck mixed with, she bake it crunchy and mix it with the rice and let it simmer. It's good. The best meal. If I had to pick any meal for my mom to cook right now, it would be the duck and rice. Right. So I took that man duck and rice, right, a pot. She said, tell him he can keep the pot. I gave him the cake, and he was so happy he almost cried. You know what I mean? And I check on him from time to time, not every 2 weeks like my mama say, but if one just passing by, I check on the old man, or sometime when I get paid, because I had a buddy live by the man named Jerome, stayed at the corner in the room house. So when I go check on Jerome, I stop by the old man, I'm gonna give him $50. Give him $50. He happy. And he said, thanks. And I say, nephew. Say, thanks, nephew. I said, my mama told me her daddy is your daddy. He said, yeah, that's what they say. I ain't want to tell you. And I checked on the old man, and then everything just faded away. I don't know whether I went over there one day, and I think they say, oh, he died. But I was going a long period, like instead of going every month or every 2 weeks, I might check on it every 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean? Cause he was doing good. He had the trap his trap house and stuff. And I went over there, I think 1 or 2 times and cleaned up for him, and got him my people. And I probably was looking at me in the future because he looked just like us. And that is my weird but amazing deja vu. And my angel explained it to me about deja vu. She say, oh, it normally your past or someone from your future, and they just coming to check on you. They don't say nothing when they visit you in the dream. But when you transition, you're gonna remember them, and you're gonna know who all came to visit you in your dreams. So deja vu is real. It's realer than real can be. I hope y'all enjoyed the story. Thank you, and God bless.